Alright. This is a good one for YouTube. They had a 60 power location, and we still win it. Alright, so here, why should you play Nimrod? Here you go. Watch this video. You'll know everything you'll ever need to know. Hey YouTube, Sko here. I'm back playing a different Marvel card game than you might be used to. I have been having a blast on Marvel Snap over the past couple months, and very recently I've come across a deck that I love and I've been having a ton of fun playing and learning about, and so I felt I would make this video as I actually have something useful to share and contribute to the conversation. So I got a deck tech, a detailed guide, and a bunch of gameplay going on here. So hope you enjoy this video. Give me any kind of feedback you want, and if you play the deck, I want to hear how it goes for you. Peace. So why should you play Nimrod, besides me just telling you to? He's fun. This deck is a blast. This is the most fun I've had playing Marvel Snap in a long time. Something that I've really enjoyed is the fact that I have measurably gotten better at playing this deck, and I have seen clear improvement as I've kind of learned more tips and tricks. So that's one of the reasons I was driven to make this video, is because I have this information that I can share with you to give you a head start on just, you know, dunking on people with this list. It's a blast. It is effective. I'm not like at the top of Infinite or anything, but I have had really, really positive results with this list. Over the past few days, I've gained more than 10,000 rank in Infinite playing this deck. So I think if you are trying to get to Infinite, you can absolutely clown on some bots with this deck. They are going to snap on you. They won't be able to beat it. I think this deck is extremely effective. One of the reasons that it's effective, and something that makes it attractive to me, is that it is really uncommon. Not a lot of people play Nimrod. So it's very off meta. People don't know how it works, and that's something we can really abuse, even against human players. And it also means you're not going to face a lot of mirrors. This also, one of the reasons I'm trying to get this video out soonish, is that this is a really, really great home for Symbiote Spider-Man. So he's our season pass card this month. So if you haven't bought the pass, or maybe if you bought the pass but feel like you haven't really been able to find a place to make Symbiote Spider-Man shine, I think that this is definitely my favorite deck I've ever thrown him in. This is also pretty collection level friendly. I'm a relatively low collection level. I'm not Series 3 complete, so if you are also Series 3 incomplete, this has very few high series cards in it. You can probably build this really easily and be very effective with it. So here's the list. I'll talk about the individual cards in a little bit more detail a little further into the video. What I want to talk about right now is which of the cards are like essential and which ones you can possibly switch out depending on your collection level. So the cards that are essential is obviously Nimrod himself, and then the two doublers, so Shuri and Symbiote Spider-Man. I think you absolutely need both of them. And basically the reason that Symbiote Spider-Man makes this deck amazing is that now there's redundancy there, that there's two of them, where before you like needed Shuri specifically. I would also call Venom, he's only Series 3, but he's, I would call him essential. Of the destroy outlets, he by far puts out the most power, except for arguably Zola, and Venom is also a really big part out of making the 7-turn version like really pop off. Cards that are replaceable are Aranya. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this video out in time for her Spotlight Week to still be up, but the reason I started playing this deck is because I picked up Aranya and I bought Nimrod with collection tokens on the same week. And this is a great place for her. She works very well with Nimrod and with Symbiote Spider-Man, and just a very, very synergistic card here, but not something that's completely essential. Crystal is not completely essential. She's just a piece that we play because we are an all-in combo deck. So we think that me drawing a card is more likely to gain me value than the opponent drawing a card, which is absolutely true, but you can live without it. You'll just be a little less consistent. And then Magic, similarly. I played this deck without Magic for a long time. I'm going to talk about that. The deck works without Magic. Magic in some ways is a liability because other decks can benefit from the 7th turn. She's very nice because she gives you some location control, and our 7th turn is actually crazy, but you can live without her. And Zola is also replaceable, especially if you have all of the other destroy outlets. Then you don't need Zola, and Zola and Magic are kind of linked. I think Zola is a huge part of what makes our turn 7 crazy. So if you don't have Zola, then magic becomes a lot less important. So I would include the two of them or not include the two of them as a pair. Although if you have only Zola, that's also okay. He's a fine turn 6 play. Other options that can go in this deck to fill in any of those replaceable slots you have. Green Goblin works really well because he helps us advance power on the board without actually clogging our locations. I'm going to talk soon about how important that is. 1-drops that are useful to play on turn 6 next to Carnage or on turn 7 next to Zola are pretty useful. So Hood fits that, Ant-Man fills that. Maybe you have other 1-drops that I don't have that might fit well there. I think Bucky Barnes could be okay. Definitely you have to plan around him and make sure the fact that you don't, or try not to kill the Winter Soldier if you want to get that power benefit. And I guess Okoye and Nakia, ones that can potentially buff your Symbiote Spider-Man or your Nimrod in your hand, are like fine. I'm going to talk soon about all of these like turn 1 through 3 cards are not hugely important, so I consider a lot of them like highly replaceable. And these are just some of my recommendations off the top of my head if you don't have something that's in the list that I've been playing. Anyway, so the deck. This deck revolves around a core combo. And I'm going to start by talking about the deck without magic, because magic is going to change our play lines pretty significantly. So I'm going to talk about the non-magic version first. And turn 4, we're playing one of our doublers. So that's Shuri or Symbiote Spider-Man. Shuri, if we play Nimrod the next turn, is going to double his power. And Symbiote Spider-Man, if we play Nimrod the next turn, is going to be able to fuse with him. It's important to note the significant difference between these two is that Symbiote Spider-Man needs to be alone in his lane in order to merge with Nimrod. If there's anything cheaper than Nimrod in the lane, then Symbiote Spider-Man will fuse with that instead. Shuri doesn't have that limitation, so keep that in mind. Turn 5 is Nimrod himself. Turn 6, we're going to destroy Nimrod twice. So we have 3 destroy outlets, Carnage, Deathlock, and Venom. One of them is going to destroy the original Nimrod. Nimrod will make 2 copies of himself in the 2 other locations, and then you'll have played another destroy outlet on one of those other locations. Destroy that Nimrod, create 2 Nimrods, you're going to end with 3, 12 plus power Nimrods on the board, and you win. Another option is Zola. When Zola kills 1 Nimrod, he's going to place 2 Nimrods in each of the other locations, so that's roughly equivalent to 2 destroys. He's another really effective turn 6 option. So keep this core combo in mind. This is 100% what we're gunning for. Getting the turn 6 part is super easy. Basically what you are looking out for is making sure that you have a doubler by turn 4 and that you have Nimrod by turn 5. The early turns, like I mentioned, turns 1 through 3, they generally don't matter much. Like your overall power is not going to be hugely impacted by them. And actually, they represent an opportunity for you to shoot yourself in the foot. Do not play your destroyers early, unless you happen to draw 3 of them. Those you're saving those for turn 6, and do not clog your locations. The how Nimrod works and how Nimrod gets us power means that having space in our locations is worth a lot more value than having 1 to 3 cost cards in there. This is also why I don't play Wolverine or X-23 in this deck, because they jump around, they clog up locations, and a Wolverine or an X-23 jumping to somewhere and allowing a Nimrod to not get copied there is a tremendous loss of power that in my mind is not worth the power gain that them landing in the right location is worth. So you absolutely want to leave at least 2 slots open per location in the early turns, ideally 3. I will often just entirely skip plays on turns 1, 2, and 3 because the space is so important. We are really just trying to keep our locations open and set up our combo. So if one of the early locations, like the first or second location, is clean, by which I mean its effect and like the opponent's plays isn't something that's going to disrupt our doubling Nimrod combo, then consider leaving it open. So if you play early, when I play cards on turns 1 through 3, I'll usually put them towards the right location. Or just play it on locations that I know are not synergistic for where I actually want to develop Nimrod. And like I mentioned with Symbiote Spider-Man, make sure you have a completely empty location if he is the doublet that you're going to use. If you don't have any of them, if you don't have either of them, if you don't have Shuri or Symbiote Spider-Man, then you might as well act as if Symbiote is going to be the one that you draw. So make sure you have one location that is completely empty for Symbiote Spider-Man to work. So the big picture of this deck is that it is an all-in combo deck, and this is something that you need to understand going into it and when piloting it. And if you don't like this, that's fine. This deck just isn't for you. And it also means that there are other decks with Nimrod that are not an all-in combo deck, and I'm just not talking about those decks. Those are different decks. So a lot of people play like Nimrod with Phoenix Force, and that's like 2 different combos put together. I bet that is a blast. I don't own Phoenix Force, so I haven't played that deck yet. You could also do decks with kind of more other options, like other ways to use Shuri, or maybe a destroy deck that just happens to play Nimrod. Those all exist. That's just not the deck that I'm talking about. I'm talking about this all-in Nimrod list. So just keep that in mind. If this isn't your speed, then it's not your speed. But as an all-in combo deck, snapping and retreating is essential. So we are going to retreat for 1 kind of a lot. I might even have like a below 50% win rate with this deck. The thing with Marvel Snap is that win rate is not everything for gaining rank and gaining cubes. If we're going to retreat for 1s and we're going to win 2s, 4s, and 8s, you're going to rank up. You're going to gain ranks. And I have gotten really good success with this deck. I actually don't know what my win rate stats are, but your cube equity is going to be huge. But you need to play smart. You need to understand what you are playing. You're playing an all-in combo deck. So generally, the players of the combo deck, we're not going to snap before we see the combo. So if you haven't drawn a doubler, and especially if you haven't drawn Nimrod, don't snap. There's pretty much no reason to. If the opponent snaps and we don't have the combo, the best thing to do is to retreat. So we're just going to give 1 cube away, and then we're going to rinse, refresh, play the next game, and hope that we draw into the combo easier. Now, often when the opponent snaps, I might stay and kind of say like, maybe I'm feeling like taking a risk. I'm going to let 1 snap ride. But if you do that, make sure that if you do not draw into the combo on turn 4 or turn 5, that you retreat for 2 instead of losing 4 or more. It's never worth doing that. This deck is not built to have a backup plan, so if you don't run into the combo, just leave. Note that Nimrod himself is the only absolute necessity. Everything else has redundancy. So there are 2 doublers, and there's a lot of destroy outlets. So I have never not had enough destroy outlets on turn 6, so I think that might be literally impossible, or just extremely unlikely. The points of variance are you need to hit a doubler by turn 4, and you need to hit Nimrod by turn 5. And because we have 2 doublers, that's actually pretty likely, especially with consistency pieces added, like a crystal. So besides knowing that we are an all-in combo deck and playing according to that and snapping and retreating appropriately, the other main thing that you need to learn is how Nimrod distributes his power on turn 6. And this is unusual, and it is our secret power. So this deck doesn't win only by producing a ton of power, although it does. We do crap out insane numbers, and that's a lot of fun. But we have the ability to adjust where our power lands on turn 6. And that, as you probably know if you're experienced at playing Snap for a long time, is really, really strong. So the fact that we can really effectively juke out of whatever lane our opponent is most focused on and move all of our power, or almost all of our power, into 2 other lanes that they have not invested in, that is completely overpowered. So you want to understand how this distributes, and I'm going to talk about it, and then you want to be planning ahead, planning around your opponent's plays, and learning how to exploit what lanes they're focusing on. And hopefully I'll be able to talk us through that when we do some gameplay. But this is the way that I think of it. We have 3 lanes in the game, okay? One of them is Nimrod's original lane. And after our turn 6 play, that one is going to have kind of the medium amount of power. What's going to be in it is 1 Nimrod and whatever you used to destroy the first Nimrod. So if your first destroy is Venom, which is usually what I do if I'm playing the 6-turn version, then it's going to be basically 2 Nimrods plus 3. Maybe a little extra if you played something on top of Nimrod somehow. So Nimrod's original lane is one that's going to have medium power. The lane that you destroy Nimrod in second is your smallest lane. So that's going to have the least power. It's going to only have that destroyer card in it. So whenever possible, you want that lane to be the one that your opponent has invested the most in. Or if you are really feeling confident about your prediction, then you want that to be where you think they're going to invest the most in on turn 6. Generally, if you can juke out of the lane they're focusing, then you're going to crush. And then the third lane, the one where you didn't destroy any Nimrods, I think of that as the landing lane. It's going to have the most power because it's going to have 2 Nimrods plus any cards that were there earlier. So that's something to think about with your early plays, is which lane is going to be the landing lane. I can have 2 units actually survive there and contribute their power to my board, and that is where I'm going to spike the highest. But basically, the fact that we don't need to choose which lane is the landing lane until turn 6 is a really huge buff to us and a great amount of flexibility. As an aside, the Zola version, instead of destroying Nimrod with 2 destroyer cards on turn 6, if you just put Zola on top of him, Zola's lane, of course, will have 0 power, and the other 2 lanes will have 2 Nimrods added to them. So keep in mind with this one that Zola's lane must be entirely empty, so that means the doubler that you use has to be Symbiote Spider-Man. If you have Aranya, you can actually use Shuri. If you have Aranya, move Nimrod off of Shuri and then Zola him. But generally speaking, you need Symbiote Spider-Man to be the doubler, and Zola needs to be empty. And then just keep in mind that this overall power is pretty similar to a double kill with Venom. This produces 4 Nimrods, where otherwise you would have 3 Nimrods plus a Nimrod-sized Venom plus 1 more Destroy. So it's just another option. It's not strictly stronger or weaker than the other ones, but it's another way to juke if you think that if you have the option to do either, and they are actually putting a lot of power where Nimrod is, then Zolaing it is the best option. Anyway, learning this and getting used to this and kind of understanding this is the key, and this is what your opponents will not know. They do not know how to deal with this. So I just included some screenshots to demonstrate this. So here, this is a game where Symbiote Spider-Man was my doubler, and he got buffed a little bit by Stark Tower and maybe some other effect here. But you see this middle lane is where he started. Okay, so I had a 19 power Symbiote Spider-Man Nimrod there, and I played Venom on top of it. And then my second destroyed lane was the left one. And you see, I probably did that because of Morbius existing, and it actually worked out really well because my opponent invested the 6-cost Apocalypse over there, which worked out perfectly for us. So we didn't need the raw power, we just juked the lane that he was actually strongest in, which is exactly what you want to do. So this lane on the far right, that is our landing lane, so the one that we were strongest in, which he kind of juked that, I suppose, so we didn't get a ton of value out of it, but this is just one example of how it worked. Here's another turn. This actually has the same exact distribution. The lane on the right is our original Nimrod lane, and I used a Venom there, so this is kind of a medium strength. And then I used Deathlock as my second Destroy Far on the left. So we didn't juke the opponent exactly properly. Actually, you can see that they're playing the same deck as us. We just kind of got our Nimrods a little bigger. But yeah, so here we have second destroyed lane on the left, the landing lane in the middle, and the Nimrod's original lane on the right. So the more you get used to how these 3 lanes are going to work out, and you gain the ability to actually make these decisions based on what the locations are and what your opponent is doing, you are going to get really, really good results with this list. So now, after having said that, I'm going to talk about what Magic does to the deck and talk about the Magic version of the deck. So I played the deck without Magic for a long time, and I recommend doing so. I think first you should play this deck without Magic, get used to the 6-turn play line, and become familiar with just the basics of how Nimrod works and what I just described. The deck does work without her. I got tons of positive results without Magic. One of the big drawbacks of Magic is that other decks do benefit from the effect of Magic. So you have to have output that's going to actually beat your opponent's use of turn 7, which we do, especially if you have Zola, but just beware of that. So Magic can serve 2 purposes, and it's important to know which one she's doing. So one thing she can do is just be another crystal and give us an additional turn to draw into our combo. So you can play her on turn 3 or on turn 4, and that allows us to actually not have to draw a doubler until turn 5 and not have to draw Nimrod until turn 6, and still do on turn 7 our normal turn 6 play. It's important to keep in mind that that is what we're doing, and maybe plan your energy allocation in that way. So she's a great add to consistency. When that, note that that is much weaker than her actually happening on curve. So if your opponent's deck is something that can benefit from the 7th turn, beware. It might not be worth snapping, it might not be worth staying. But, so she can be a consistency piece, another crystal, something that digs us 1 card deeper towards our combo. Or the other purpose, the one that we really want to see, is getting magic on turn 3 and the combo. That puts us into turbo mode, where we are going to put out an amount of power that other decks absolutely cannot compete with. So turbo mode, generally speaking, destroying Nimrod across 2 different turns, so destroying him once or twice on turn 6, then once or twice on turn 7, is going to give us way more power overall, because eventually you're going to be able to destroy a lane that has 2 Nimrods in it, and ideally create 4 Nimrods out of that, you know, for a 2 Nimrod profit. And it gives us additional flexibility because we don't have to juke as specifically as the turn 6 version is. We can actually almost completely sculpt our power how we want. So it's a huge amount of raw power and a huge amount of flexibility. The best thing to do, the strongest version of turbo mode, is on turn 6 and a lane with Venom. Make sure he's the only card, so he has to be the last card you played. He's going to eat everything in the lane, and then you're just going to have a Venom sitting there. And then turn 7, you Zola Venom. That will create the most power possible in this deck. So that's a lot better than Zolaing Nimrod, because I'll just show you pictures. It's kind of exponential damage increase. So you'll see I had a Venom on the right hand side, and then I Zola'd that Venom, and the Venom goes to the right lane and then the middle lane, and the left lane and then the middle lane. And the left lane will resolve first. He ate the Nimrods that are there and then pooped them out to the middle lane and the right lane. Then the Venom in the middle lane eats the Nimrods that are there, kicks them back to the left lane, also dumps more on the right lane. And you see we just have an absurd amount of power. So these are our coolest, biggest, flashiest things, and if you can pull this off, it literally does not matter what the opponent is doing. If they're not disrupting the combo somehow, like stopping Zola from actually happening, they're not winning. Here's another example. This one actually kind of cheated with Camartage. So I think I had a Venom and a Nimrod, well, actually a Symbiote Spider-Man over there, and Zola hit both of them. But anyway, the general idea is the same. So when you do this, keep in mind that the Venoms are going to activate, they're going to reveal from left to right, so kind of keep in mind your location space for those purposes. If for whatever reason you think that your game is going towards this end game, this is one of the times when I will very happily just like entirely skip turns on turns 1, 2, and 3, because it really doesn't matter, and you really just want really just want space to dump all of these Symbiote Spider-Mans or Nimrods everywhere. This is one that unfortunately the opponent retreated before we were able to resolve this turn, but I just included it because this was going to be an absurd amount of power. So maybe somebody can do the math on this, but I think it was something like 200, just insane. So you're going to get the coolest finishes and the coolest snapshots, and these are the games where you're likely to maybe win 8 cubers on the ladder, which I have a number of times with this deck, which was really rare in Infinite for me before. But this, having magic on curve and then Zolaing your Venom on turn 7 is going to be the biggest blowout plays maybe you've ever seen Marvel Snap. Total blast. Highly, highly recommend. So finally, I want to talk about some matchups and locations. Obviously, kind of feeling this out is like the whole skill expression of the game, but I just want to kind of give you guys a leg up on what kind of things you're going to see and what to care about. So note that we do not interact with the opponent. We don't disrupt them in any way. You might do that a little bit if you're playing Green Goblin, but we do outpower like everything. So every deck that's just trying to be like honest mid-range, and every other combo deck, as far as I know, I think we almost always beat them, especially if we're doing the turn 7 version. So the things that do beat us is when the opponent interacts with us and actually kills our combo. That's the thing you most want to be afraid of. A big card to be aware of is Null. So if you're playing against kind of a normal destroy deck, they probably play Null. Because of what we're doing, their Null is going to be huge. So basically it means they will automatically win one lane where Null is. This is not an auto lose, because we still output a lot of power and we can juke them. If you are a prediction wizard and you can juke out of the lane that Null is in, or if you just kind of do a play that kind of spreads your power evenly enough that it doesn't matter hugely where Null is, you can still win these games. But Just know that null is a huge advantage against us. So if you're playing against a destroy deck, especially if they're confident in snapping, probably safe, probably best just to bounce. Cards that discard cards from our hand will make you sad if they actually hit the combo. So if it is possible, you might want to hold on to extra cards in your hand to kind of protect things, but I never really try to do that. I just maybe don't snap early if I think my opponent is running these kinds of cards, and then happily retreat for one if they do. They're not gonna snap in advance because they think that these cards are going to disrupt a combo, so you never really need to worry about that. But yeah, obviously discarding the Nimrod or discarding your doubler out of your hand is gonna just cause an instant retreat. And like I said, almost always, especially like Moon Knight, that almost always is not happening before they snap. So it's just one cube, give it away, and move on. Clogging, decks that try to clog us and locations that clog us, like things that make raptors and squirrels. This is not always bad. It's so I call it polarizing, because if something clogs you in a way that actually disrupts the combo, a key way being putting something negative on top of Symbiote Spider-Man and not allowing him to fuse with Nimrod, or if they actually fill a location, which then allows us not to dump Nimrods in there or not destroy the Nimrods that are there. If they can do that, then they're very strong against us. If they cannot, then we're strong against them because we have destroy options and we can clean things up. So clogging generally makes Symbiote Spider-Man a little bit worse, and you have to try harder to protect his lane, but I do not automatically retreat when I see clogging cards or clogging locations, because sometimes they actually work really, really well. But just keep in mind where exactly you're trying to set off your combo, and if they disrupt it, they disrupt it. Generally, I don't snap early in these situations. I just wait to make sure that my combo is safe, and then we go for the gold. Wakanda and armor are not the end of the world unless they do drop them directly on top of like your first Nimrod. Wakanda I don't retreat on at all, just make it the landing lane. Armor, if they are actually holding onto armor like late to be a tech card, then they can probably use it against us, but if they're developing it early, then just treat it like Wakanda and make it the landing lane, and you still have really good output. It's not a cause to retreat. Hate cards that do hurt us is Cosmo and Eliath, and there was the longest time when I did not see these cards ever for like the first half of maybe the ranks that I was gaining with this deck. And then I ran into it a lot because I think they've suddenly become really popular in like move decks. I think mostly those decks want to like protect their units from stuff like Shang-Chi, so they're playing Cosmo and Eliath. So these are pretty strong against us. Similarly to armor, if their Cosmo comes down early and isn't movable by Madam Web, then it is possible to juke it, just make it hit the landing lane, and it doesn't destroy our soul. But if they play it late, a late Cosmo or a late Eliath can kill us. This is probably the main reason I ever lose 4 or 8 cube games, would be cards like this, if my opponent is really savvy. There is ways to get around this kind of stuff, and I mean, if you are afraid of Eliath or seeing a lot of Eliath, then that can change how you play your early turns, and you are going to want to have initiative on the turns that you're going off. So my normal playstyle with this deck makes me very susceptible to Eliath because I hold my power in my hand a lot and don't take initiative. But if you are suspicious of Eliath, maybe you want to just default to this whenever you see move decks right now. You might want to be committing power to the board actually sooner in order to have that initiative. Or, just kind of YOLO it, make sure you don't snap and roll only 2 or maybe only 4 cubes on that game, and if they get it, they get it. And otherwise move on and crush somebody else's soul. So that's the end of my PowerPoint with a bunch of details. I'm also going to include a lot of gameplay. I hope you enjoy it, and if you build this deck, let me know what you think. I hope you have a good time. Alright, well thankfully our opponent is absolute garbage. So, having Nimrod is something that makes me very happy. Oh, I already have a doubler. Aunt May's is a synergistic location for us. This game looks great. Turn 1 snap. We have 5 turns to draw 2 of our 4 discard outlets, or destroy outlets. And if I really feel risky, I can go for Crystal. Wow, that's a really strong card for us. All right, so the right-hand location is the one that might be like dirty. So I'll go there first. He's got a... maybe he was doing Wiccan kind of stuff. I'm thinking I do not need... oh, the sad thing about this is how it... I shouldn't have played Crystal. Oh, I guess we're going to lose the benefit of Aunt May's. But that's fine. Actually, what we can do is get a doubled Nimrod. Let's do that. This is completely not helpful for teaching you how to play the game in any normal situation, but it's going to be a humongous amount of power, so we're going to do it. Oh, I forgot to... I gotta update my cool variant to show everyone how cool I am. I like that card. I'm gonna get him. That'll be the next video. It won't be doubled twice. It'll just be 18 power. But we get to play Carnage on top of it. Crazy. So yeah, we're gonna Zola our Carnage and go absolutely crazy. There is no way his Scarlet Spider is even close. I'm sorry, Sir Stizzy. This, I hope we get to play turn 6 here because this will be amazing. It's a pretty big Sebastian Shaw. Not as big as my Nimrod, though. I wonder if we play someone else on top. What should we do? We should play a Nova here. And that's the only thing that's worth any power. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome, YouTube. This is so this is a rough approximation of the 7-turn totally crazy output plan. The actual specifics of this game were kind of completely absurd, and this would be better if it were Venoms. They would create way more power than Carnages. But yeah, you can see that we are humongous. We spec'd out of the lane with his strongest unit in it, and that is a total success. We have Nimrod and a doubler. Wakanda is awkward, but that's fine. As I mentioned, we just make it the landing lane. I almost want to snap here. But he could be playing something disruptive, so let's wait to gain a little bit more confidence. Okay, I know nothing about him except he has good taste in variants. I have one. Yeah. I think we're... it's worth a snap. Can always retreat for 2. So I'm definitely looking for the 6-turn version. I don't know if he's really stressed or if he's baiting me, but we shall see. Don't care about that. Yep, so we got Symbiote Spider-Man turn 4, Nimrod turn 5, and then Carnage here, Deathlock here, something like that. This lane has Thena, so probably Carnage this lane, Deathlock this lane. I don't know. We'll see. He's just got like Thena good stuff, perhaps. Could be cloggy stuff in here. Well, he's got a nice big Kitty Pryde. I am thinking that Trying to figure out which of these two lanes he's going to be more focused in. And that's the lane that we want to make the second destroyed lane. We're actually going to be really strong over here, even if he tries to make it strong. Okay, I guess Captain Marvel kind of solves the question for us. It like doesn't really matter. I think I'll just go for the option that is... Oh, Zola gets us totally out of his Thena lane. That's probably best. Let's presume that Thena is his best option. Just drop 28 power in the other lanes. Or do we want to spread out more? I probably should spread out more. I wish I had Venom here. That would make this easier. Fist bump to you too, sir. Well, we have two lanes here, and afterwards you can tell me what I did wrong. I kind of like the, oh, I can't. I'm expecting him to put a presence in the right lane, and so I'm going to juke out of it. Oh. Okay, he retreated later. Why would you retreat later and also emote me while you're waiting? You could have just left. Okay. We've been on a tear of really good games for us. Okay. So this is finally a game where we don't have the combo just in hand. So I'm actually thinking that I'm not going to play Aranya because of the fact that I need to dig for the combo, and I might need to be playing Crystal and maybe Magic. So even though Aranya's great, Aranya's going to chill for now. I'm having deja vu. Is the game sound not working? That's sad. Same difference. That's not that disruptive to us. Obviously, we don't want that to be Nimrod's landing lane. The rocks are actually pretty annoying. That's rough. But let's see. If we get a doubler, we're good. Oh, that card sucks. I hate that. I don't care about ongoing. Rough. This is rough. Okay, so Crystal doesn't help us anymore, which means we are gonna do this. We just need to draw a doubler next turn. If we don't draw a doubler next turn, we don't have the combo, period. I guess Magic gives us an out. But I don't care too much about being too clogged anymore, since we're most likely just taking the retreat for one. Doubler. Oh, baby. Okay, so it was the wrong... no, it wasn't the wrong one. So probably we'll just juke out of Quantum Realm. So now it's looking like Shuri on the right, Aranya, Nimrod on the right. Kill this first, kill Quantum Realm second. We're going to have a bajillion power in Throne Room. This is almost a snap, but I do need to draw a second destroy outlet. And if I don't, we will be sunk. I have 2 turns to do it, though. But he did give me 3 rocks. Never know. Cool. All right, that's a snap. It is activate Aranya. Player doubled Nimrod. Even if he has something cloggy, doesn't disrupt this. I am confident. Speed strong, so he's got 8 power. I actually don't have a bad presence in the Quantum Realm. It's the crazy thing. I can destroy in the Quantum Realm. Let's do... juke out of the throne room. I'm gonna get so much power in the throne room though. I don't really know what I'm facing. I can totally abandon one of these lanes and just totally crush the other. I think my doubled Nimrods are going to be completely unbeatable. So let's do that. Let's send it. Okay, he did totally crush us with Cosmo. That's not even enough to win, though. Oh, we do. We lose Quantum Realm without the copies. Oh, boy. That was... All right. Well, totally do not expect Cosmo in this kind of deck. I guess maybe he's just trying to be annoying. I don't really know. But, hey, I said we lose 4s to stuff like Cosmo. We got a doubler. We got destroyers. We need to draw Nimrod. That's a cool profile picture. No Nimrod yet. Very interesting. Ramping into a 4-coster. Really ramping. Okay, we have Nimrod now. So we can't destroy over there, which is so awkward. I think we're going to go ahead and snap. Because this ramp is good for us. I think we beat whatever other decks are trying to ramp. So we get Nimrod on turn 4. So this is kind of like an earlier game where because of a location effect, we actually pretty much gain the benefit of doing the 7-turn version without actually playing the 7 turns. So yeah, we're going to end with a Venom on the Superflow and then Zola that Venom and completely crush. I would multi-snap if I could. I don't know why they're covering that up. Like, you're really so confident that your curve plays are just amazing. Crazy. Okay. Yeah. We will drop this guy, and this guy. And then next turn we're going to Zola this Venom. Check it out. So again, this is we're cheating with the Superflow, but this is basically what you can do if you get Magic on turn 3. So the Superflow here is kind of standing in for Magic. All right, let's absolutely crush. Triple snap. This might be our flashiest YouTube game yet. Oh, man. Okay, so we were going to have 42 power over here, and then another symbiote, 56 power here, you know, maybe like 150 power or something. Man. All right, good game, Cherry Bomb. Dang, game ain't my quarters. All right, well, I turned my game sound back on. Sorry for the museum-like silence of the earlier games. Camartage is pretty good for us. Yet another way for us to basically cheat into the 7-turn version, but let's see, that's an odd play. Oh, it's an Arsham. Okay. Okay. Having Magic and Venom and Zola makes me very happy. I think Zola Camartage is just going to be absolutely crazy. So I'm happy to play a Forge. expect to Venom on top of that. Let's do it. Oh no, I'm gonna just play Magic. I think I want to keep Camartage. Yeah, we do want Magic. We haven't snapped yet because we don't have the actual combo. What do we need? We need the doubler and the Nidavelliers. Yeah, I don't care about the Vault. I care more about Nidavellier. All right. Oh, I guess I do care. Symbiote Spider-Man needs to get killed on turn 6. I might have played myself. That's neat. Oh, man. This is going poorly-ish. All right. We're gonna Venom on the left now. We're gonna ideally draw Nimrod next. It's not gonna work. It's too bad. Well, let's do our best. That was a nice try. That would have completely sunk us if we were actually drawing on curve. How about that? How boot that? Oh, we didn't draw him. That's so sad. All right. So if Nimrod were not one of these 3 cards, oh, we wouldn't be able to fuse him. All right, we lost either way. Take the cube, Mask. Good game. All right, a doubler and Nimrod. That seems pretty snappable, actually. Let's send it. All we need to get our normal 6-turn thing is draw a doubler. Yes, I did snap. You're sort of annoying, so. Okay. Wonder if we draw Crystal or play Crystal. She's a fine thing to eat up Vormir. That's fine. So he's a ongoing deck. Shuri is less susceptible to clogging. This is a nice landing place because of the buff. So yeah, we kill a guy here, get a nice kill over there. Pretty sure we beat an Ultron everywhere, right? Not certain of that, and I'm not about to do the math, but let's see, this will be 15. His drones will be 8 plus 8, so 16 plus 4 is 20. Actually will not beat that lane, which is fine, but we're just gonna do this way. Send it. All right, yeah, we don't beat the drones here. I think we beat all of this. Actually, Dazzler kind of pops off. Let's see. Panopticon helps him a lot. I'm a little suspicious. I think we're good. He does have a lot of power in the left location, though.
There's no strings on me.
Ooh, very close. Very close. Hello, Trippy. He's not useless. And we are cooking. If we draw Nimrod. I want to live in the world where we can go to turn 7. Let's see. He will use this better than me, almost surely. Certainly. Oh, discarding Blue Marvel? That's so sad. Sometimes Shauna, she kills your vibe. Okay. I have 5 cards left? What? So the safe thing to do is actually Crystal here. So let's be safe. Play consistent. Oh, we're full up, you dummy. Oh. I totally sold. Alright. If we draw Nimrod next, we have a shot, but we totally blew it. Don't be like me. But I'll show you. But sometimes you just gotta... Sometimes you just give them a cube, you know? It happens. Nuts. Good game. It's a solid location for us. We have the correct doubler to make use of it. We don't see Nimrod yet. Got the crystal on turn 3. So I feel rather good. I'm not very afraid of a Red Hulk. That is a rough location. It's gonna be our landing zone. I have 2 doublers now. So turn 3 Crystal, turn 4 Symbiote Spider-Man, and if in all that time we do not draw Nimrod, then we're sad. It's too bad it's such a synergistic card. Okay, I think we are gonna... Do we do the riskier option? Yeah. Why wouldn't we? He's snapping? You're snapping. Maybe I shouldn't give him the taco truck. Maybe we will just do this. Give us 2 cards to draw into Nimrod. We don't have to retreat for 2. It was good of him to snap so early. Okay, one more try. 25% chance. I suppose we could keep playing a little bit if we... Is that lowest power? Interesting. That ruins us either way, doesn't it? Okay. Why did that not draw us more cards? Oh, that one's blanked. But we didn't get him anyway, so... Nice job. Sure Shuri's Lab, obviously a completely killer location for us. Yeah, we are not going to do any of this. Okay, that is going to be a magic. I think I'm ready to go big. I really want to draw Nimrod. Please, sir, let me draw a Nimrod. Cool, Jeff. Jeff has big power. Well. I like a quadruple Nimrod. If we draw, yeah, baby, look at this king. All right. Venom would absolutely slap. If I were him, I would certainly retreat when my opponent plays Shuri on top of Shuri's Lab and then snaps. Let's hope that he stays without something particularly destructive. He will get a huge kitty pride pretty soon. Will that beat our... Not at all. Wow, that was amazing. Okay, let's do... One Nimrod on each. I can add one more thing over here, can't I? That's not worth it. I think this is a killer. Alright. This will be a great day for YouTube. His only hope is to have big disruption on me. Okay. That's not enough. I wonder what the right thing to do is. Oh, it's still... Probably still venoming that Zola. Or Zola-ing that Venom. That's gonna get me 3 Nimrods on the left. Yeah. So Venom here, and a Nimrod there. We don't have room for... Don't have room for Aranya anywhere. Double snap. So this is a nice example of how sometimes Shang-Chi does not... Actually, most of the time. We're fairly resilient to Shang-Chi. Pretty much Shang-Chi only kills us on, like, if it's only the turn 6 version and, like, Zola was our play. Generally speaking, destroying our Nimrods is good for us, so we're happy to do that. I love this. This is great power. And great responsibility. Amazing. Alright. This is a good one for YouTube. They had a 60 power location, and we just don't win it. Alright, so here, why should you play Nimrod? Here you go. Watch this video. You'll know everything you'll ever need to know.